If we go back 2 years and we see what's happening in the middle of the first year and what's happening now and what is going to happen in the future, right? If you bring all of that ecosystem together and think about it, you will see there are typically these three emerging themes that we have found out, which is defining the future of work, right? And you will see that with many organizations adopting a hybrid workforce model, a mix of both working from home, working from office. The challenges that we have today is surrounded around productivity and collaboration. Gives us the opportunity for this new emergency and talk to you about Google Workspace and how it unlocks it. Right. So to navigate this hybrid future successfully, right, organizations, we have found out they really need a flexible solution that helps people not only connect, create, but also collaborate, and from any location. Practically, I'm sure that many of us who have joined this meeting, some of them have joined from home, from remote locations, from office, and from different places. Right? We don't know where the work is. So what we see now is work is wherever we go. Right? So we have to have tools and abilities which helps us enable everything that we do in our work, no matter where we are at. And I want to talk to you specifically about these three main dimensions or themes where our work is involved and how do we solve for, right? We know that work is no longer a place. People need flexible solutions to help them connect, create, collaborate from anywhere, right? That's the first theme. And as you would see that the search or the research that was done with Gartner, we realized that there are estimated of 48% of workers uh, which continue to work remotely even after COVID, right? So if somebody asks me, do you want to go back and work at client locations, work at your offices, travel in traffic for an hour and two to reach a specific destination? I would say, I would stay back home and be a little more productive. While productive does not mean that you end up spending a lot of time more than what work you're supposed to do, but it really means how we define our work today, wherever we are at. And that's how I come to the next point, which is time is very precious than ever. Right? And I know everyone on this call can resonate, irrespective of the time that we start our work and we end. At least before the times of COVID, we knew when to stop. But then, given that time is very precious, we need some tools uh, that help manage people and time and the attention, right? Allowing everyone to deliver a higher impact. Uh, Given employees back time instead of wasting like 20% of their work looking for information, right? I'm sure that while we do our work today, we look for a lot of information internally when we start building a project document, or we start working with our client for an RFP document, or we start initiating a meeting with the customer for whatever purpose that you're doing it. We need a lot of utilities, a lot of information even before we do start the work, and that's where we are saying, with as part of this particular theme, which is time is more crucial and more precious. We want everything right at that place so that you don't end up spending a lot of time finding information rather than using them. And then yes, the human connection is more crucial. This is important than ever. We know that the solution we are trying to build is not only going to help bridge gap between the physical and the virtual world that we are at, but it also helps us being more of human and more of inclusive in our work that we do today. Right? So people are, if you look at the type of people that we are working at, right, they are the most important assets. And if they are burnt out with a lot of business and customer meetings and work that they are supposed to do, it becomes clueless for any organization or for any employee to do the work. So we want to ensure that we bring in all of these three dimensions or themes in one place and help to deliver a much better solution. With this, I want to make you think a way where you see or imagine a world where technology puts people at the center, so that even teams who have never met each other, right? If you ask me my personal experience, I have been working with collaboration and messaging for more than 1.5 decade, and I've never seen working style that we are doing today, working remotely uh, and not being able to meet person in person and do a handshake and understand the sentiments, right? But now um, we are missing that being in the same room. But instead of distracting and adding steps of work that we do today from the technology aspect of it, you would resonate that we need augmented type of reality of work, where even if I'm sitting on the other side of the screen, I'm still being able to put some human connection and put some expression and sentiments when I'm talking to people, right? Um, and we want certain tools which are not rigid, which are like really simple, but offers you the best of the traditional office settings that we do in a regular life, right? We want those flexible tools to come to life and be able to do everything that you do today. With this, I want to jump to a specific category of solution that we have in Google, which is what we call it as Google Workspace, and that's what the session is going to be about. If you look at the Google Workspace portfolio, I'm sure either in professional or a personal life, we have seen Gmail, calendar, chats, Hangouts, Meets, we have seen forms, but there are many other elements part of Google Workspace that can help you do your work done. And one of that I want to literally point it out is Appsheets, which is uh, which is the app or which is the resource which is going to help you do a lot of your work much easier, help you automate a lot of the tasks much easier. And in the going further slides, we're going to talk a bit about app sheets. So if you look at app sheets today, uh, in my conversation with a lot of customers, we see that the organizations need innovation and agility, which is like the paramount in the digital transformation or the digital solution aspects of the organization, right? And while digitization is a top priority of most of an organization, many do not have the resource and the IT to achieve everything they're looking for. And uh, they, you would say that they have the desire. Uh, they have a lot of use cases. Every LOB, every team that you work with, they have use cases, but it's just that they don't have a platform that can bring that to reality in a very simple way. So with that, we I want to give you a perspective of what we have seen on the field, especially employees who are looking for ways to improve their business processes. But as I said earlier, that there are not many tools available that can easily do that for them. Today, you will see a lot of tasks that we do it via pen and paper, and not only people who are IT savvy, but majorly people who are not IT savvy, who are on the field. If you look at a manufacturing plant or a retail store, uh, they have no relevance of IT. They want to ensure that the work that they do for their organization, they should be able to do it effectively. So today you will see in most of those organizations, pen and paper is used to track a lot of processes, uh, which in a way is traditional, but we know it is slow, expensive, and it is not very reliable. There is no insights that you can gather out of all of those details which are captured. And there are ways in which you will see uh, you can develop certain external solutions, but they become expensive. They become slow because the time it takes to develop an application, the time it takes to develop that digitization or that process. And it's difficult, of course, for the IT to manage. And you will also see that purchasing these external solutions, which is of course expensive, it is very limited to that particular use case. You cannot expand that to enable or augment that particular use case into multiple such themes and resolve multiple use cases out of that application. And finally, building a solution with forms and spreadsheets. They are good tools, they're excellent to do some of the work, but it is not ideal for processes that you want to automate. For processes like managing your inventory, managing the shelf space at a retail store, managing plant's equipment at a manufacturing plant. or managing an approval or a ticketing system, right? You need certain tools who can help you do that. And that's why we build app sheets, right? And I want to take this opportunity and talk a bit more about what this app sheet is. So Appsheet is a no code platform, and when I say no code, it's literally no code. Any citizen like you, me, or any citizen who knows to operate a computer should be able to create an app. And that's why we call it as a no code app, which helps enable anyone and everyone, right from the IT to the LOBs to the users on the field. It helps you rapidly develop application in a very short span. And moreover, when you create applications, you simply need to set up your data wherever it is. It doesn't really matter. Is it on a spreadsheet? Is it on a database sitting on one of the SaaS vendors on the internet, or one of the database vendors on the internet, or it is sitting in your non-premises database data warehouse? It doesn't really matter. App sheets can connect to that data and help you retrieve and make some logic out of it to build that automation. And one point I want to stress more on, and I cannot stress more, is because the way that we are working today, we work with many devices. It could be phone, laptop, desktops, tabs, peripheral devices. AppSheet, it works with mobile, uh, iPads, tablets, or with your laptops and desktops. The experience, the look and feel, you'll just see the same. There should not be any discrepancies around it. With this, if you look at why AppSheet, right? Why are we stressing more on AppSheet, and why it is important when you look at a development platform which gives you an ability to create it without a code? And the only reason why AppSheet is with AppSheet, you can build uh, your app right from the time you have an idea till the time you execute that idea, right? So there is no development cycle if you look at. If and many developers on the call, if you can, you would definitely resonate what I'm saying. When you create an application or a process, there is a lot of development cycle when you're creating an app. With app sheets, you just forget that development cycle, because the time you have an idea, you start creating it and you publish it for the end users to consume. The other version of the apps which you feel that is this requires fine tuning and a lot of update, it can still happen in parallel without interrupting the first one, right? So your development cycle, it can reduce from months, weeks to like couple of hours. That's the power of AppSheet. And if you look at some of the features about AppSheet, it allows customers or allows the end users to extend their workspace capabilities with their custom apps and automations. Right? So it is not only that you can use AppSheet for a specific data set, you can customize it, extend it, expand it to your workspace solution and beyond. And these possibilities are practically endless. And you will see some of the examples, some of the common examples, which I want to talk to you about in this particular slide. And in the further section of this session, you'll see a demonstration as well. But however, to talk about some of the use cases, you can build a field delivery app that updates the data in Sheet and allow the delivery person or the deliverer to take a picture of the package delivered, annotate it, and upload it into your drive. So the power here is person on the field is using an app not only to do the delivery, but also collecting an information of that delivery and closing the loop and storing that data somewhere, which will be used later to drive some analytics. Right, that's one example. Second, I want to talk to you about is creating a virtual training app. Uh, Today, we all invest a lot of time and resource in training, learnings, development, upskilling, self-upskilling, teams upskilling. You do a lot of investments there in terms of time, revenue, and resources. With app sheets, you can not only manage the schedule, but you can allow the users to sign up and join a specific training by automatically sending them invites in their calendar, and they know that they have to join those events. Right. The other example I can think of is you could create like a resource portal where all team members can save documents, communicate on those documents, access and customize the layout. Look at a way in which there's an app which built for a specific team or a specific group of people working on a specific objective, and all the information which is needed for that particular work that they're doing, all of that is there in one place in a customized layout, which is easy to use for the end user as well as for the project management purposes. Right. So together, what I want to say is with Google Workspace and Appsheet, you can transform many aspects of business. And in next couple of slides, I want to discuss some of the key areas we see it happening. And here I want to say Appsheet is it's an excellent way in which we can streamline and automate your office work, your project management, your IT ticketing, your virtual training, like we spoke about. And if I take a step back and give you a brief history, we announced Appsheet in September 2020. The Appsheets automate piece, where you allow users to reduce the time they spend performing repetitive and manual tasks, and they can focus on more strategic and more details or work that they are willing to do. Right. So it allows the end users to kind of automate their own work that they're doing, and especially it is useful for office workers who do a lot of workflow automation, and they invest in parallel applications into their IT to get their work done. So AppSheet can become your unified platform for all of those workflow processes. And as an example, I can talk to you about is a customer and a manager approval. Right, you need approvals at many places. The simplest example I can give you from an approval standpoint is there is an RFP document, or there's a document that comes on the table and it has to move to different tables to different people, and that requires approval at different levels. You can automate their entire workflow as part of AppSheets. Your employee onboarding, automating emails, and managing customer invoices. Some of the few examples I can give. And you can not only Appsheet enables to rethink the business to employee experience, but it also lets imagine the business to customer experience as well, the B2C side of the scale, which is essentially very large, and it helps to automate a lot of work that you do. Right, the employees can then discover different dimension in how they can work and interact with their customers. Right. For example, if I talk to you about healthcare, if you see on the left side of the screen, there's an app which is built especially for virtual care. How are the healthcare workers essentially working with their patients and working with the doctors to ensure that they have timely reporting for a specific surgery or timely reporting for a specific patient that needs to be attended remotely. Right? That can one of the example. And your curbside pickup, digital branch can also be one of the examples here. And lastly, I wanna talk about if you standardize the entire workflow processes that we spoke about. You can standardize this on AppSheet, and this will help reduce the shadow IT and give the IT a much better visibility in the changes happening inside the organization, and also allow creating certain prototypes which can be utilized by the entire organization, not a smaller team. Right, so it definitely helps you give the unified vision for the IT to create workflows, and while with that, it gives you a granular control of how and what and which app sheets can be deployed, who can enforce commands, who can create app sheets, which policies go to which users, who can authenticate. All of that can be integrated directly using Google Workspace, and there is no different IDP, no different solution, no third party or a bridge solution required to do the integration between different systems. So it all integrates with the directory. And at last, I want to give you that given AI and ML is one of the priority for Google in all aspects, and it is for AppSheet as well. And when you start building AppSheets, you'll realize that The app sheet does have an inbuilt AI and ML algorithm, which helps the end user create apps, not only to bring their ideas to life, but it looks at the behavior on how the app is going to create and give you some suggestions that, looking at the type of data that you're feeding in, the type of column that you're feeding in, looks like there are more of such information that you should look at. So the AI is part of AppSheet, but the machine learning learns from the behavior of the app which is created and gives you the suggestions as well. Right. So that's typically I want to talk to you about the future of work and how AppSheet helps you evolve in that direction. So with this, I'm going to give it a pause uh, and give or hand over the mic to Hirul to show you a quick demo on how it comes to life.
Sure. Thanks, Prakash. Shall we take a pause even to let our know the audience or the members who have joined the call? Are they on the same page? And shall we continue with demo or any concerns that you would like us to answer?
Yeah. So any questions?
Yeah, we are definitely having Q&A at the end, but before going to demo, any quick question that anybody would like to have, we can answer that. All right. I guess everybody's in the same. Yeah, Vikas, you wanted to say anything?
No, here. I mean, we are good to go to see the demo. Yeah.
All right, sure. All right, let me present my screen. Is it visible to all?
Yeah.
All right, sure. So yeah, whatever Prakash have informed us in depth, this is just a quick summary of what AppSheet is all about, right? Like Prakash have explained quite in depth the main features and all that fun. So it's quite user friendly to develop. It gives very innovative technology solutions, easy deployments. We have a community to help. It's agile and powerful with capabilities of AI ML. Application can be seen on mobile, tablet, or any application, and it's quite a no-code platform. So, before looking in depth to any of these deep features, find out the capabilities, let's have a quick demo of how quick or how easy it is to build an application on AppSheets, right? Okay, so over to that. Yes, so this is the basic UI of your AppSheet. Fine. Okay, once you log into your AppSheet with your Google Workspace ID, you will have something like this. Let's have a quick start. Three options, but let's start with an idea. Find out how it can help us. Now, in current scenario where it is COVID and we don't know when offices would resume, or there would be some offices who have already resumed, fine. There are things that, okay, should we resume the office to full strength, 30% strength, 60% strength? We don't know what to do. So let's have a quick look at if we want to have a seat booking app that, okay, before moving to office, an employee needs to book a seat for him or her. Fine, and then only they can move. So let's start with that. Okay, so what is our app gonna be all about? Is it about seats? Is it about employees? Is it about staff? So let's say it is about office seats. It's about office seats, right? Am I wrong? This is a typo error here. Okay, we choose this, that this application is about office seats, right? So parallel to while we are just feeding our ideas over here, fine, it will also give us the UI on this particular panel. Okay, so what else do we have? So this is just, okay, so there are multiple office seats that it has reflected here. Office has, okay, so as soon as you type something, it will give you, okay, what next you can choose over here, fine. And office has many office seats, correct. So let's click this. So this is the second thought or the second specification of our application, fine. And office has multiple employees as well. Okay, Okay, now before choosing employees, obviously we need to inform that our application is also going to talk about multiple employees. Fine, so we choose this first. Okay, so see, automatically we got it. An office has many employees. So it will give you all the relations. So if you can see here, an office has many employees, an employee has many offices, an office seat has many employees. So it will give you all possible relations between the titles or the headings that you have, entities that you have mentioned over here, right? So you can choose out of that. An office has many employees. So right now we have mentioned that, okay, it is collection of office and employees. So these are our two core entities, fine, that we have mentioned. Okay, now next is, see, based on whatever two entities we have mentioned and the relation that we have mentioned between them, it also shows us the actions that can be done. But before that, we need to check that an employee can book a seat. Users can request employee users. What should users be allowed to do? Let's go with directly users only. Users can request for a seat. Users can request office seats. So that's the next functionality that will be given. Okay, see, now if you can just have a little view over here, fine, this, the app is already building parallel to what specifications we are just giving. We have a list of office seats, we have a list, or let's say collection of employees, and here also we have a dummy data mentioning that, okay, office seat request. Fine. Now, let's say we are not sure how next to proceed ahead. So we can check over here. We can just click on add. Okay, so we want to book an office seat. Okay, we have a list of seats that are available here. Obviously, these things, I'll just show you next after this. These are all changeable. It gives you a structure. Fine, to build. You can definitely replace the names, the seat 11, 12 over here. You can definitely give it the name the way it is given at your office. Fine. So let's say we want to book seat 9. Okay. Now see, it has auto-fetched my email ID over here. So that means the user's email ID by default comes over here. If you want to change the definition, how it is working, that can be done at the back end. I can add my name over here. It also reflects my name along with this. If it's any note that needs to be put. Date also, current date and timestamp it is showing. If I wish to change that, okay, that I want it for Monday. Fine, and maybe I need that office seat, or I need to reach office at 4 o'clock. Right, so that is what we can mention over here. I'm saving my data. Right. So this itself gives a notification that there are some changes which needs to be saved. Fine, because if we want to integrate any workflow or anything, we can. So right now I'm saving it. So whatever record I have made, it gives by default. It also has a very good search feature in it. Okay, by what do you wish to search? You want to search by office seat, you want to search by name, email, notes made, timestamp made. Okay, I want to check how many bookings are there, let's say for seat number 10 and seat number 31. You get a list over here. So these are all inbuilt features which default comes with your app whenever you build the app. So just by mentioning this much, fine, you have. Okay. So you find that, okay, this is quite workable over here, and let's see. So we save and verify. We can give a name over here. Seat booking. So now it's building our app. It is this simple and this quick. You can add specifications after you have saved. You can create more relations. You can define more relations. Fine. It's very easy. So this is the UI of your app. You can definitely customize the UI as well. Yeah, we can start customizing here. So, okay, so now we are in the development side of our app. Fine. So, okay, I'll show you one more thing. Any application definitely has a database attached to it. Fine. So by default, the database, because I have used Google Workspace as my SSO or the login page, login over here, it will use Google Sheets as its default database. Fine. So if I want to view source, see, default, it has given you now, these are the headers, fine, which will reflect on your application. And this is the dummy data, which is definitely changeable. Fine, you just need to do a delete and you need to start pasting your or feeding your data. But by default, it has created a database sheet as well. Even if you check for another table, let's say office seat request, and all these data sheets will be saved in default in one folder only. Fine. So the source of your data will be one folder in which all your data sheets will be auto created. So you don't even need to worry for the backend mapping, the database connectivity, the ER diagram, the relationship that it defines. Fine. Everything will be auto done. It's just that how easily you give your specifications. That's it. So let me, now this is how quick and easy it is. Fine. See, you can, I'll show you the web view of this app and I'll show you a mobile view of another app. Okay, so this is our application. These are the three views. The views are also auto created. You can definitely add more views. You can define more views. Fine. See, this is the office seat view that we had. You go over here, you get details about this office seat, definitely, which is changeable, customizable, right? Here is the employee data set that you have, and these are the requests that we had created. Fine. And you also have a menu view over here. You can add more views here, or you can also add, here we have 3 views, fine, in the tab. You can definitely add 5 over here, and menu views are in number. Fine, you can have any number of views over here that you want. Now, this is the application side or the web view of the particular app, right? Let me switch the presentation to my mobile and let me show you how an application would look on a mobile, right? Just let me stop sharing from here.
I think the world is changing so fast. A few years back, businesses were investing on hardwares to manage these applications, and now I think these business users straight away developing applications. Right? That's the technology we wanted to show everyone.
Yeah, I'm also Vivek this side from Hero Motocop. So this is the it's very nice. Okay, you explain a bit about that. What about the security concern about that? Means how, because in infrastructure, okay, we install McAfee or any of the endpoint protection or WAF and other appliance to secure our infrastructure. So what about suppose I built an application? What about the reliability of that application, performance of the application, as well as the security or source code security of the application? Who will take care of that? Does Google give us some SLA about that? So what exactly, how it works? Just I am curious about that as well.
Absolutely, and I think Prakash, you can also take it up. But valid question, and I really appreciate you asking that, Vivek. It's the whole Google environment because it's everything built upon GCP as an environment, right? And the whole infrastructure which has been developed on cloud by Google, security is the first and foremost area which they thought about, and the applications have been developed. But again, Prakash, you can add, as well as Hiral, you can add.
Absolutely. Just one point to add, what you rightly pointed out. So the application that we're talking about is running on Google Cloud. So I can take this leverage and tell you that all the investments that Google is making on the security side already takes care of the security of this platform. The ability to govern and ensure the policies which the end users get, right, from a consumption standpoint, that is under your control. But the worry about the source code, the worry about the application performance, the worry about what if this application is allowed and accessed by somebody on the internet, all of that is taken care of by Google because it is integrated with the Google directory. So all the policies that you put in for the directory, that takes precedence. I hope that
All right.
answers the question in some way.
All right.
Okay, adding to what Vivek, just to answer your question, one more point I'll add to what Amol and Prakash just answered, right? See, if you can see over here, fine, this is the UI of mobile app, fine, that we are using, and it is login is of either the Search ID, right? So by default, it has Google SSO. Google Workspace SSO, right? So any user will not be able to log in to just with their generic ID and they'll be able to use your application until and unless you have deployed it as a public app. Fine. So after you create an app, you can deploy it either for your domain, either for your any of the OUs, or even you can deploy it as public. So if it is an application which is deployed just for your domain, fine. Nobody outside your domain can access that particular app, neither the data connected with that app. And whenever you install Appsheet on your mobile, right? See, this is the as I said, right? This is one of the app. Now you can see over here that it's my login. Right. So all the applications, they will be able to see only once they log into Appsheet. So to use Appsheet, they definitely have to log in. So if they are login using their business ID, fine. Whatever policies, whatever it can be, DLP policies, security policies, fine, that you have applied for your Google Workspace domain wide, the same will be applied to Appsheet as well.
All right.
Yeah. So
Got your point.
it is nothing that you would say that security concerns, fine, whatever policies on domain, Google Workspace domain, applies same over here. So does that answer your question?
Yes, and what about the compliance standard? Okay, it will maintain the compliance. Yeah, of course, it is a Google platform, but somehow about some compliance standard about the SEBI and other HIPAA as well as the PCI DSS. So that will be also taken care by the Google itself about this. Suppose I'm going to launch any of the application via Appsheet. Okay, so about the compliance, who will take care of that?
Prakash, would you like to answer that or shall I?
Go ahead.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, Vivek. Now, agreed that there are certain compliance and policies of HIPAA and that we can enable, right, on our Google Workspace domain. Now, see, Appsheet is directly connected with your drive. Fine. So if at all, whatever drive related policies that you have set will be directly applied to Appsheet applications as well.
Okay.
Because your data gets stored in your drive. Fine. So whatever policies are connected or which are revolving around your drive, all directly will be applied on your applications as well.
Got your point.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it from my side here. And about the licensing, suppose enterprise and other, because I missed that initial phase of the session, so sorry for that. Okay.
Sure.
So so this will be a part of basic as well as the enterprise both, or what exactly about Appsheet?
Okay, I'll tell you one thing. For as far as Appsheet license are concerned, right? Appsheet in itself has its own SKUs and versions. Fine, starting from core to business and business standard, business enterprise, right? Now, with Google Workspace Enterprise SKU, you get the clubbing of Appsheet core license, and which in itself has so many features that all your basics or workflows can be developed just by using your Google Workspace Enterprise SKU, right? Because Appsheet core comes clubbed with it. In case if there is some feature which is not a part of Appsheet core, only then you will have to upgrade to a higher version of Appsheet.
Rightly said. So Vivek, yeah, it's part of a Enterprise Plus licensing of Google Workspace.
All right. Clear to that.
Appsheet core. And on the basic, you can actually go ahead and have a Appsheet as a standalone plan also attached to it, so that Google authentication you get an application straight away you can develop.
Perfect. Perfect. Thank you.
Right. Shall we continue, Vivek, then? With
I
the-
Yeah,
had one
sure.
small question. So
Yeah.
can these applications be submitted on the Google Play Store, or is it just restricted to one domain or a specific network?
No, you actually, yeah, you can, but for that you'll have to make your application public. But in case in that scenario also, the user will have to have Appsheet downloaded, and through Appsheet they can access all the applications.
Okay.
Okay. So let me just show you. This is a quick app which we had already built before, right? This is a project management sort of an application. If I want to give, okay, it can be process improvement project. Fine. Its description can be standardized, standard process to apply. Fine. What is the next due date of this project? Next due date of the any activity? Let's make it 31st. What's the status of this project? Is it a to-do, in progress, running, complete, on hold? Fine. What would you like? Okay, then let's consider that it's a to-do. It's a to-do status. Who will be owning this project? So we already have a predefined list that we have in here. Let's make it Peter, who owns this project. Who can collaborate on this project? Again, we have a predefined list. Fine. We can have, let's say, Mary, who can collaborate. Do we have any image attachment and file attachment or any content link that we want to have? And this also, we have a flexibility to make few options mandatory and few optional. Fine. So what is the objective behind this particular project? Fine. So it can be increase brand awareness, find new customers, sell more widgets, improve quality of widgets. Fine. Any tag that you would like to associate with this? It's all about, let's say, interface. Fine. Sorry. Yeah. And then once you save, fine, your data gets saved. And you have all your projects all over here. Now what you are seeing the list over here, fine, it is the list of projects which are in status to do. The next is in progress tab. So you have a tabbing also that can be made available to status wise if you want to view. So these are the views that we have created, the completed ones, fine. And let's say if I wish to see the details of this feature ABC project, I have a detailed tab. Okay, so this is feature ABC project, the image associated, the initiative description, the status, the member. So whatever details you are filling in, fine, can be viewed. So one, we have a detailed tab, and another are the status wise tabs. Fine. Here you have a list of my projects. Okay, if I wish to see any specific, just my projects, these were all projects. This is just my project. So we get those views in the panel, which is at the bottom of the app, right? If you want this panel to be even at the top, we can switch it up. Fine. So we have some customizations on the UI part also that is available. So this is how an Appsheet application looks on your mobile. Moving back to my presentation. Let me just stop sharing from here. We can add workflows, approval workflows, branched workflows. There are many things that are possible. Fine, which if we want, we can definitely deep dive further on that, right? Yeah. So after this, and I would like Amol to take it ahead and just give more insights.
Sure, thank you so much. Thanks, Prakash. for the overview, and Hiral for taking us through the platform. Guys, I completely understand limited time frame. I would quickly like to talk about Searce. Where do we fit? And so that's a most of you would be knowing about Searce as a consulting organization. We are partnered with Google more than 12 years now, and we ourselves have gone through multiple phases and multiple innovations within our organization and the relationship with Google. We have seen the platform of Google Workspace 10 years before, and the same platform we are using. And the best part is no versioning. We don't know which version we are using today. Now imagine the same platform, same cloud technology, allowing us to actually develop applications on the go, right? So that's the whole meeting was all about. Searce is an organization that can help you implement these services, these products, these platform. We have already done with a lot of organizations. These are some of the logos at the end of the slide. You can actually see it. We are a global partner, gentlemen, and so any part of the world today, we can actually sell, resell, and provide solutions around work transformation. So we talk about Google Workspace, and Appsheet is nothing but a part of a future of work services coming straight away from Google Cloud. Right. Some of the stats basically help us in giving more confidence to you. Are the clientele we have more than 2,000 enterprises we are supporting, and we ensure that the adoption of these products are equally available at the end customer side. Quickly on to the next slide, Hiral, if you can take us through. These are core services, people. We provide technical support services. We have a dedicated team run by Hiral only, called Business Process Improvement Services. BPI services allows you and your organization to actually explore the possibilities of Google Workspace beyond just the standard tools and capabilities what it provides, right? And we talk about Appsheet, we talk about Data Studio, we talk about app scripts, right? And then stitching multiple tools which are a part of Google Workspace to provide a use case that can automate and digitize your current manual processes. That's where the BPI actually comes into picture. As part of our engagement with our clients, we ensure that we provide service reviews on a quarterly basis. We do conduct training sessions to our end users as well as to your IT team as well, by also putting a lot of stress on the security aspect, be it Appsheet or be it your workspace. We do conduct assessment as well as a technology security workshop that provides you a score across 8 to 9 parameters, and then we provide you action steps to perform that will actually increase the overall score to ensure that your domain on cloud are secure than earlier. Okay, and for any kind of integrations, right? Because you don't buy a technology just like that and it sits standalone. You always ensure that it should talk to your current ecosystem and other platforms you already invested in, right? So again, Searce can help you in integrating those platforms too. And then there are these areas which we try to increase the adoption either by tips and tricks program. We do also conduct transformation labs just to help you understand this more better. We do conduct a lot of workshops for the line of businesses by creating some kind of executive briefing session where these people are aware about these platforms first, and then so that they can percolate the information to their rest of the members, right? And then quickly, last 2 minutes on a couple of cases which we would like to highlight. Hiral, if you can just take us through. One of the important is the digital. Sorry, not the digital. It's a traditional business. You would be knowing Kirloskar Group, right? It's a conglomerate. The entire more than 5,000, 6,000 user base moved on the Google Apps, or we call it as Google Workspace platform. The whole objective for them to move onto the cloud environment was majorly because they have invested a huge amount in terms of point solutions, unable to keep a track of it, unable to provide a uniform interface to their end users. That was the major challenge the company had. And they have taken a due diligence in evaluating the platform. the business impact is basically a lot of businesses and their heads have started utilizing the product at the start of the first 2 quarters itself, right? So the ROI company started getting within 6 months time period. Okay, then there are areas which we have tried to improvise within the Kirloskar group also. The second case is AirAsia. It's a known airline industry organization, and we did a couple of projects out there beyond Workspace. One is the Appsheet, the other one is reducing the Microsoft Office footprint, right? And this took almost 3 months, for our team to actually understand the challenges, propose a roadmap, phase 1, 2, and 3, and then implementing it accordingly with the help of the AirAsia team, right? So these are some of the couple of examples apart from the big logos which I showed in the earlier slide. I'm ready to take a pause here. That's it. I did not want to take much of your time. I understand that we are over shooting the time. Any questions? Vivek, thanks for asking that. But apart from Vivek, or even Vivek, you have anybody you want to raise any point, any query, or should we just quickly go back to the form if you have? Garima, anything if you want to basically highlight any questions has been raised, happy to take it up. Garima, any questions we have?
I think Vivek asked and helped us answer all the queries which our participants did have.
Okay.
So if anyone has any question, we can discuss that right away.
Yeah, so I have a few question more. Okay, so about usually when develop any application, there is requirement of the physical as well as the database application servers and all that things. Okay, so how we are maintaining such scenario here in Google Sheet? Okay, means any architecture which we are following or something, because what Hiral is showing to us, that is how we can use that, and she shared that the backend architecture like Excel sheet or spreadsheet there. Okay, but in general scenario in application there is a database or some things. Okay, so how we are going to integrate that things, how we are going to maintain that, Google will maintain that, if there is any loss in our database, who will take care of that? So such question I have. So definitely we'll connect later on if possible, and discuss a lot on that.
Absolutely. Let's connect Vivek again, and then you please share your coordinates so that we can connect with you post the meeting.
Sure.
Appreciate it. Great. Thank you so much, everyone. If there are no questions, and then we are ready to wind up. Prakash, thanks once again for your time, and Phil, thanks for showing the demonstration of the platform. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you everyone.
Everyone.
Thanks.